Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is another one of those pregnancy loss videos. I wanted to just share kind of our journey on how we went about the kids going on this journey. A couple of my kids are old enough to where they understand it, a couple of them not so much. So the kids, they were actually at my appointment with me the day that I found out we lost the baby, but they were in the waiting room with my husband. So thankfully they weren't really like directly there when I got the news. However, when I walked out and I was trying to tell my husband, hey, we lost the baby, my oldest just knew. She's so smart, so quick to know just kind of things like what's going on. She's quick to read people, so she just knew. And the entire drive home, we were like, let's just wait, have an official conversation, but she knew. And for her, she probably had the hardest grieving process. My second, it took her a little bit more time, but she figured it out, and she's also had to go through her own version of the grieving process. It looked a little bit more subtle, and she was a little bit more not really sure what was happening, but over time she kind of figured it out. The only thing that my son knew was that mommy has been crying a lot. He didn't really understand it. He has come to know that there was a baby in there, and I think a lot of it he still thinks that there is a baby in there because we've talked about the baby a lot, but it just hasn't quite clicked for him. He's only 3, so a lot of that just didn't quite fully click for him. And then my youngest, she wasn't even a year old at the time that we lost the baby, so she, in her mind, she doesn't even know the difference. She didn't even know I was pregnant. So the biggest emphasis that we had with the kids was that the baby's with Jesus, the baby's in heaven, the baby's better than all of us. Throughout this whole journey, that's what happened. Yes, the baby died, and the baby was in my belly for a little while, but that the baby was just, wasn't here anymore. Baby's better than all of us, and that's where we've kept it this whole time. My oldest does talk about it often. For her, the baby is very much a part of our family. Whether the baby is physically with us on this earth or not, the baby is a part of our family. So she talks about the baby as if the baby has always been there. Not so much like she knows that the baby is with the Lord, but as if the baby is truly part of my family, a part of our family. And it amazes me how quick she is to say, yeah, well, I've got so many siblings, but we also have a baby who is with Jesus. There was a baby that died, and she talks about it to complete strangers, her friends. I mean, it's very much an open conversation for her, and it's beautiful. My second has dealt with it in her own kind of way. Like, we were visiting a cemetery one time just for the sake of walking through a cemetery. There's an old town close to where we're at, a little tourist site, and part of that was walking through a cemetery. And one day she was like, Mom, the baby's here, right? The baby is, and this is where people go when they die. So she kind of makes connections like that a little bit. But just kind of, she's very much more like matter of fact. So for her, like, she's in that grieving process, but it's a little bit more like, this is what happened. And I know that both of the girls, like that first week that we found out, both girls really, really struggled. My oldest especially, they would both come lay down with me and say, Mommy, I'm sad, baby died. And that, as a mom, was hard to hear their hurt, all while going through it myself. And the only thing I could think to do in that moment was to just hold them and just to say to them, you know what, we are all grieving together. This affects all of us. We're all hurting. We are all excited for this baby, and Jesus took the baby home, and it's okay to cry about it. It's okay to feel what we need to feel, but to know where the baby's at. And that's where I think, like, my husband, my parents came in. They were able to kind of help steer some of that where I couldn't, but to help them know that, hey, baby's with Jesus, and to kind of talk with them through it a little bit more. By the end of that first week there, they did start behaving normal again. However, every once in a while it will pop up Just 2 weeks ago. I mean, and it's been about 3 months since we found out we lost the baby, maybe a little bit more at this point. But a couple weeks ago, my son looked at me and said, "Mommy, baby's in your belly." And that was hard for me to hear because I'm like, "No, babe, baby's with Jesus." So he does know and he does understand that there was a baby here at one point, but that our baby is with Jesus. And that, to me, and from kind of what I've been talking about with my family and stuff, like when the kids say stuff like that about the baby, that's just their way of processing what happened. But by the end of the first week, they all started behaving pretty much normal again. But it's just like with what we do, like it's me especially, but my husband and my family too. Like there are moments like when you're going on your grieving journey, you're fine, and then something reminds you of something, and then it doesn't feel like you're fine. And I've noticed they do that too. Um, my older children do have to pretend like they're pregnant, but I don't think that has anything in particular to do with this loss, except for the fact that they recognize that there was a baby that is no longer here, but they play like it. They do all understand that mommy's grieving, especially in the beginning. It was mommy's crying a lot. We kind of understand it, but we really don't understand it, but we know that mommy's grieving, and that when those times of grief come, I just have to say, you know what? Mommy's grieving. Mommy's sad that the baby died, but mommy's happy that the baby's with Jesus, and it's okay if you need to cry too. And just to reiterate that over and over again, it's okay to grieve, but we need to know that baby is better than all of us. And really, that's where we've kept it. We have had conversations about what the future may look like with growing our family with them, and they're very open to what that looks like, and I'm happy about that. However, I feel like there's a part of them that they know that this baby, no matter what happens with our family in the future, this baby will always be a part of our family and in our memories. Um, and to know that just because things go on in the future, that doesn't mean that we forget about the life that was once there. As with when we grieve someone who we have got to live life with, or a family member who we've got to grow up with, that memory is always there, and the Lord gives us those memories. But to remember that in those memories and in those moments of sadness, that the baby is with Him. But overall, I would say the kids are doing better. But as I've said before, they do have their sad moments, and it hurts to see them hurt like this. But they, again, they understand. They understand what happened. My older ones more so than my younger ones, but they all understand that our family has suffered a great loss recently. But I mean, they're doing good, and I love seeing their hearts, knowing that there's a baby. There was once a baby, and that baby is in a better place, and I love how much they understand that and how in their mind that baby is very much alive. And again, it just, as much as it hurts to see them hurting or some of the things they say, it does trigger some sadness for me. It comes out of a place of pure, just innocent, and their own grief and their own way of understanding what's going on. And I could not be more proud of for how my kids are responding to this and understanding it, and just in their young minds, just able to grasp the reality in such a beautiful way that just being able to see it from their eyes is so beautiful, because in my eyes, I'm grieving, and I need to be reminded that this is actually a very beautiful thing that happened. I mean, this baby never experienced hardships on this earth. This baby only ever knew love, and the fact that they were able to understand that and to look at it from their eyes, it's a beautiful thing. And it's, again, a good reminder. Faith like a child. I have that childlike faith to see that they're able to understand where the baby's at, and to keep that baby in their memories, and for them to acknowledge and recognize that this baby is a part of our family, even though this baby is no longer here on this earth. And again, just such a good reminder to look at it through their eyes. And I am so beyond proud of my children and for how they've been able to grasp this thing that is very hard to grasp and understand, especially in a young mind. I could not be more proud as a mom, and more proud to see them work in their lives through this. if you are going through pregnancy loss, I'm so very sorry. And if you have children who are going through your pregnancy loss with you, I am so very sorry. That has definitely been hard, um, to have to watch kind of what they're going through as a mother, knowing that loss is there and knowing that they were excited for another baby brother or sister. And I'm just so very sorry. Um, I'm over on Instagram. If you have any questions that you want to leave, or if you have a comment you want to leave, feel free. I'll do my best to answer questions, but this is just kind of how we've dealt with this. Or for me as a mother, if my husband wants to come in on the comment section and say something, or come in on a video, I mean, I obviously want to hear his side of it. But as a mother, this is just kind of how I've experienced this with my children. And then my husband's just come alongside and been able to, again, just take on everything going through this and taking on the parts that I can't, especially when it comes to helping our children through this as well. Anyway, thank you for being around. If you have any more miscarriage videos, feel free to let me know, or feel free to leave a suggestion. I'm pretty open about what we went through. It's definitely been a long journey. But anyway, I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.